Hello, in this video we're going to take a look at another aspect of the arithmetic chapter in your book, which is chapter 5, and it's on currency conversion. So changing your euro to dollars or dollars to pounds or things like that. And we all kind of need to have an idea of how to do this, because when we go on holiday, if we go on holiday, we shall have to change our currency once we go outside the euro area. And it's important to know that you're getting value for money. That's the first thing. The second thing is, and this is the good news, that if you watched the previous video on ratio and proportion, currency exchange or currency conversion is much the same thing. Okay? So let's just jump straight into it, and we look at a question that came up in 2015 of the Leaving Cert Ordinary Level paper, and it was the question 1 actually, and it's fairly straightforward. So let's take a look at it. Pádraig works in America and travels between Ireland and America. In Ireland, he exchanged €2,000 for US dollars. When the exchange rate was €1 will get you $1.29. Find how many US dollars he received. Okay, so our exchange rate is this thing here. Exchange rate is when one of the denominations, so either the euro or the dollar, will be 1. Okay, and the other one will tell you how many dollars you'll get for that one. Okay, so that's the exchange rate. Okay, and this is how much money he has. But what's really important is you pay attention to the symbol that's in front here. He's got €2,000, and they want to know how many dollars he'll get for that. Okay, now I'm going to rub all that out so we have a clean slate here. And when we look at the steps of how to do this, and again, if you had a look at the previous video on ratio proportion, this is very much the same. Okay, let's get some yellow. And the first thing we do, step 1, is we write down the exchange rate. Okay, the exchange rate is here. That's what you call the exchange rate. So let's write that down. But always remember now, include the little symbols. So if it's euro, put the euro symbol in. And where there are dollars, put the dollar symbol in. $1.29. Okay, there's the exchange rate written down. That's step 1 done. Now step 2. Underneath, put the piece of information you've been given on the correct side, with an X on the other side. Okay, what piece of information we've been given? We've been told that he's got €2,000. So underneath, that's what it says, underneath, put the piece of information you've been given. So I need to put 2,000. Do I put it here, or do I put it here? That's the question. Well, it's €2,000, isn't it? So I need to put it on the euro side, which is over here. So I'm just going to write it a little bit neater. I'm going to write €2,000 here equals, and you put an X on the other side. X. So that's step 2 done. Now, what do I do next? I cross multiply. Okay, cross multiply. So this is going to multiply by this, and this is going to multiply by this. So you'll have 1. You can put in the euro symbol if you want. I'm not going to bother anymore. 1 by x is equal to 129 by 2,000. Okay? That means 1x is equal to 2,290. And that's the answer. That's how many dollars he will get for his €2,000. It's not so bad, is it? Now, the next one, we just apply the same method. Pádraig returned. Okay, Pádraig returned to Ireland and exchanged $21,000 for euro. So this time he's going the other way around. He's got a load of dollars and he wants to change them into euro. He received 15,000. Write the exchange rate for this transaction in the form 1 euro equals what? Okay, $15,000. Well, actually, what we're doing is essentially we're doing the exact same question. So write down the exchange rate. Okay, there's step one. Write down the exchange rate. Well, I don't really know the exchange rate, but I can write in what I've got. I don't know what this is going to be, so there's my X. This time, it's the first line that contains the X. In the previous question we did, it was the second part that contained the X. But now it's the first part, okay? Then underneath, put in the bits that we have, the information that we have. So we know the $21,000, so where will that go? It'll go over here on the same side as the dollars. It has to stay on the dollar side. $21,000 is equal to 15,000 euros. So that'll go over here because that's the euro side. Step 3, cross multiply. Okay? That's going to come up to multiply here. That's going to come up to multiply here. So we will have 1 by 21,000 is equal to X by 15,000, which means 21,000. I'm going to do this in a different color just so that you can see it a bit better. So 21,000, because 1 multiplied by 21,000 is 21,000, is equal to an X multiplied by 15,000 is 15,000X. Okay. Now let's just zoom in here for a second. What am I actually looking for? I'm looking for what X is. So I need to get X on its own. Now if I want to get X on its own, I've got to get rid of this 15,000 here. So in order to get rid of that 15,000, I need to divide by 15,000. But whatever I do here, I have to do the same over here, 15,000. Now it'll cancel on this side. But over here, when you type that into the calculator, you will end up with, I need to type it into my calculator because I'm not, that good at the minute. 21,000 divided by 15,000 is 1.4 equals X. So now you have the exchange rate. You know that 1 euro will get you $1.40. And that's the exchange rate, that's the answer. Okay? So we follow the same method. It's the same method for both questions. The only difference was that in the first one we were given the exchange rate and we were missing the sum of money that would get you. Whereas in this second one, we weren't given the full details about the exchange rate, but we were given all the details about the money that he had. So it was just the same thing. The X, though, was up here instead of being down here. But you still cross-multiplied, and you still got X on its own to figure out the exchange rate. Okay? Now, the very last part of this question, now I'm just going to move this picture out of the way, was, it looks at first reading to be quite difficult. So let's see if we can figure it out. It says that he wants to exchange some dollars for sterling on a day when the euro to dollar exchange rate is that, and the euro to sterling is that. Find the dollar to sterling. Now let's just think about this for a second. We're told that 1 euro is equal to $1.24. That's that one there. But we're also told that 1 euro is equal to 83 English pence. That's that exchange rate there. So take a look at that, and if you think about it, if €1 is equal to this, and it's also equal to this, well then, this is equal to this. Okay, think about that now for a second. If €1 is that, and €1 is also that, well then these two things must be equal to each other, because they're both equal to €1. They're both equal to the same thing. So we can put that down. $1.24 is equal to 83 pence. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now they want you to write it in the form of $1 is equal to how many pounds. In other words, they want the exchange rate. 1 is equal to, put in our x, because this is the part we don't know. Cross multiply, just like what we've been doing. Now the hard part of this question was figuring out this line here. In fairness, that was difficult. We wrote down the two exchange rates they gave us. There they are there. But to get from that to this bit here, it's difficult. Okay, it is hard. We're here now anyway. Right, let's cross multiply. So $1.24 by x is equal to 83 pence by $1. So 1.24 by x is 1.24x is equal to 0.83. Now again, we're trying to get x on its own. So it means we need to kind of get rid of this bit in front of it. Now how do we get rid of it? By dividing by it. But whatever we do over here, we've got to do over here. Now it'll cancel here, and we're left with x on its own, and then 0.83 divided by 1.24 gives us 67 pence. So now I know my exchange rate. $1 is 67 pence. Okay, how's about you try some? These are in your book. Exercise 5.5. Let's take a look at the first one there. I'm not too sure if it's very clear on your screen. It gives us the exchange rate. If €1 is equal to $1.32, what is the equivalent of $1,800? That says there if you can't see it. 1,800. Okay. And then what is the equivalent of 2,800? Okay. How's about you try that now? Give it a go. Pause the video and give it a go. And when you're finished, press play, and I'll go through it to see if you got it right. Okay, I hope you paused it, because I'm going to keep going as though you've done it. I'm doing this question up here, question 1. Now, what's the first step? We write down the exchange rate. So €1 is equal to $1.32. And they want to know what we'll get from $1,800. So I put the 1,800 over on this side. And I don't know how many euro I'm going to get, so I put my x there. Okay, I cross multiply. So it's going to be 1 by 1,800 is equal to $1.32 by x, which means 1,800 is equal to 1.32x. Now I want to get rid of this thing in front of x, because I want to get x on its own, remember. So I've got to divide by 1.32. So I've got to do the same over here. That'll cancel there and there. And I'm left with 1,363 euro and 64 cents. That's how much money I'll get for 1,800. Okay, hopefully you got that one right. And there is the answer to the second one. I've just run out of time. Okay, I hope that helped.